Hi everyone, this is new crime story video for you. This is very amazing case, so don't waste the time. Let's go to enjoy the video.
David. Today we are going to take a look at another real tale with you. Today's story is about a murder in which there was no evidence, no witnesses, and the police couldn't find a single clue. Still, the police had to investigate the case and bring the criminal to justice. For one whole year, the police worked tirelessly, hoping to reach the culprit, to solve the case, and to find some lead or proof. But even after all their hard work, they found nothing. Finally, after a long struggle, one witness came forward. He had a complete testimony. The police listened carefully to his statement, but now a new problem arose. How could they present this case in court? Would the court recognize this testimony? Would the judge accept this witness? This was the only challenge left for the police, how to present such a witness in court, especially when this kind of testimony is usually not considered valid. So let's see who this witness was, what he revealed, how the police presented it before the court, and how they finally solved the case. Make sure to watch this video until the end so you too can find out who that witness really was. This is a story from America. There was a family lived. That family was of Marty and Galena. They were husband and wife. For both of them, this was their second marriage. They had each been married before and had divorced their first spouses. From their first marriage, they had 2 children, and those children also lived with them. Marty was financially stable, and Galena was also financially independent as she had a job. Then one day, Marty had an accident, and because of that, his life changed a little. Earlier, he used to go out a lot, but after the accident, he stopped going out as much. Instead, Marty started spending more of his time hunting. On the other hand, his wife, Galena, was very addicted to gambling. She used to gamble a lot. When Marty was fine, Galena would go with him to casinos to play. But after his accident, since Marty hardly went out anymore, Galena's gambling habit became even stronger. She wanted to gamble every single day and always wanted someone to take her to the casino. Now, Galena often went to the casino, and whenever she went, she lost a lot of money there. Meanwhile, after Marty's accident, his health had declined and he was unable to work much, since physically he couldn't handle it anymore. On the other hand, Galena was blowing away all their money in gambling. She kept losing, and even their house and car were on installments. Because of this, the bank started calling them since they were unable to pay the installments anymore. To make matters worse, Galena also became addicted to drugs. Slowly, as Galena kept taking those drugs, she also began to change mentally. Her nature and behavior started shifting. Sometimes she would get extremely angry. Sometimes she would argue and fight a lot. Sometimes she seemed happy, and other times she even tried to harm herself. At times she felt like ending her life. Even with all this, their life was still moving along somehow. But then came a time when the bank officials came to their house and told them that their home and car would be taken away since they had not been paying their installments on time. When Marty heard this, he told the bank officials that he had already given the money to his wife for the payments, and she had told him that she had paid the bank. But the truth was that Galena had lost that money in gambling and then lied at home, saying she had paid the installment. Now Galena began to realize that everything was going against her. Financially, things were completely unstable. If she kept lying and gambling like this, one day she was bound to get caught. On top of that, she also carried the responsibility of the household and the 2 children. But now the date comes, May 13, 2015. What happened was that for 2 days before this date, Marty and Galena had not stepped out of their house. Their children were staying at a relative's home while Marty and Galena were both inside the house. For 2 whole days, neither of them came out, and none of the neighbors saw them leaving. Usually, neighbors notice when someone steps out of their home, when they return, or at least catch a glimpse of them once in a while, either standing outside, going in, or heading out. But for the past 2 days, none of the neighbors had seen the couple at all. When 2 days had passed and neither of them had been seen, no voices were heard, and no one saw them coming or going from the house. The neighbors started to feel something was strange. This had never happened before. Normally, at least once a day, someone would see the couple. So one of the neighbors decided to go over to their house. She knocked on the door, but there was no response from inside. No sound at all, and no one came to open the door. When the neighbor tried a little harder to push the door, she realized it was already unlocked. She opened it, and as soon as she stepped inside, she let out a scream, because right in front of her were 2 dead bodies lying on the floor. She didn't even look closely to see who they were. Terrified, she ran outside, shouting. Hearing her screams, the other neighbors rushed in, and there they saw the bodies of Galina and Marty lying inside. Immediately, the police were called. Once the police were informed that 2 dead bodies had been found in the house, they quickly arrived at the scene. When the police arrived, no one had gone near the bodies before that. Everyone was just watching from a distance. As the police came in, they began lifting the bodies. First, they picked up Marty's body, but when they went to lift Galina's body, the moment the officers raised her, Galina suddenly screamed, shouting, "What are you doing? Where are you taking me? Why are you carrying me like this?" That's when the police realized that one of the 2 was still alive. They quickly lifted Galina, put her into an ambulance, and rushed her to the hospital. As soon as Galina was taken to the hospital and treatment began, it was discovered that the bullet near her ear had grazed her and exited. She had been injured, but her life was no longer in danger. On the other hand, Marty had been shot 5 times and had 5 bullets in his body. The police also found a suicide note at the scene. At first, neighbors thought that maybe Galina had tried to commit suicide. The police knew that only Galina could answer their questions, so they waited until the doctors confirmed that she was stable and ready to speak. Once the doctors said she was okay, the police took her statement. In her statement, Galina said that she loved her husband very deeply, so much that he was her entire life. Yes, financially, they had problems, they sometimes argued, and he could get angry, but she loved him immensely. She also said that she would never have shot her husband. She had always wanted to stay with him, no matter what life threw at them, and that she wanted them to be together. The police asked Galina if she had seen anyone or knew who had shot Marty. Galina said she didn't know anything. At first, she had been shot and had lost consciousness. After that, she had no idea who had killed Marty, who had come into their house, or what had happened to him. She simply didn't know anything. The police conducted a full investigation in their house, examining every detail, but they didn't find anything there either. Even their children were questioned, but they didn't provide any information that could help the police determine who had shot the couple. When the police asked if anyone had come to the house or if the neighbors had seen anything, no one had any useful information. The top police continued the investigation, interrogating and questioning everyone, but still, they couldn't find any clue that would lead them to the killer. The police even offered a reward for information about the murderer, promising a reward to anyone who could provide evidence or lead them to the culprit. Yet, no evidence or even the smallest clue came to light. The police checked the call details and phone history of both Marty and Galina, even tracking locations, but still, no useful information was found. Meanwhile, Galina's mental state had deteriorated badly during that time. The police tried many times to talk to Galina, but often she would forget things, or sometimes she couldn't remember memories. At other times, she would start crying uncontrollably, which made it impossible for the police to question her properly. All these difficulties continued while the investigation was ongoing. The police still had no evidence. All they had was Marty's body, which had been found in May 2015. By now, it was May 2016. A year had passed, but the police still hadn't found anything. During this time, while Marty and Galina were in the hospital, Marty had died. Galina was still undergoing treatment. At that time, Marty's first wife was at their house because Galina was in the hospital and the children were away. Since Marty had passed away, she felt sad and wanted to express her grief. She had been Marty's first wife and had lived with him before, so she was affected by his death. There was one thing left in the house: a parrot. They had an African parrot, which Marty's first wife had bought when she lived with him. Since no one was at home to take care of the parrot, Marty's first wife, whose name was Christina, decided to take the parrot home with her and care for it herself. Now the parrot was with Christina, Marty's first wife. Time passed, a year went by, but the police still had no evidence. One day, while the police were sitting and watching TV, they suddenly saw a video that caught their attention. It was a video of the parrot. This parrot could mimic humans, it could copy voices and repeat words that people had said. As soon as one of the officers saw it, he realized that this parrot belonged to Christina, Marty's first wife. At that time, the parrot was going viral and getting a lot of attention because it only spoke 2 words, but those 2 words had a very significant meaning. The police thought that maybe they could ask the parrot something and get a clue they had been searching for. So they called Christina over and asked her about the real story behind the parrot and why it was speaking that way. Christina explained that when she had taken the parrot home, there was no one at the house to take care of it, so she had brought it with her. Christina told the police that she had noticed the parrot was speaking in Marty's voice. The police asked what exactly it was saying, and she explained that when she first brought the parrot home, the first word it said was "shut up," and the second was "don't shoot, don't shoot." When the police heard this, they realized that there might be a hidden meaning behind these words. They thought that when the parrot said "shut up," it might have been mimicking Marty when he was angry and telling someone to be quiet. And when it said "don't shoot," the police interpreted it as possibly Marty warning someone not to shoot him. Maybe someone had tried to harm him. The police asked Christina why she hadn't told them about this earlier. Christina explained that at the time she didn't fully understand the meaning of the parrot's words. She also thought that if she brought the parrot to the police, they might make fun of her, and she felt it wouldn't be taken seriously. However, she had recorded a 1.5-minute video of the parrot speaking. Christina said that one day she discussed it with her friends and they suggested that she send the video to a TV channel. She did so and the channel aired it, which made the video go viral. Eventually, this viral video reached the police. The police had to figure out who Marty had been speaking to when he said "shut up" and "don't shoot." It became clear that Marty would only ever say these words to someone he knew. When the police asked the neighbors, they learned that for 2 or 3 days, no stranger or third person had entered the house. Only Marty and Galina were there. The police thought that the parrot's testimony could be important, but they also realized that in court, the parrot's words might not be accepted as evidence. So they called Galina in for questioning and explained the situation to her, telling her that the parrot had revealed certain truths. In their discussions, the police were able to get Galina to confess the truth. Initially, whenever the police questioned Galina, she would wander around, avoid giving clear answers, and refuse to tell the truth. This started in 2016, and it wasn't until 2017 that she finally admitted the truth. She explained that financially they had been in a very bad situation in America. She had become addicted to gambling and drugs, and Marty would constantly try to stop her. She had even tried to leave him, but didn't have the courage. On the other hand, Marty kept stopping her at every step, so she thought that if she got rid of him, no one could stop her. That's why she shot Marty 5 times and also shot herself once, making it look like the attack had come from someone else, while also attempting to save her own life. Because of the parrot's testimony, the police had evidence that could not be ignored. They were able to collect fingerprints and other pieces of evidence linking Galina to the crime. With this, the police were able to easily prove in court that Galina was the murderer. The police took Galina into custody and solved the case. The key factor in this case was the parrot. If the parrot had not been there, it would never have repeated Marty's words, and the police might never have caught Galina. It was the parrot's testimony that ultimately led to her arrest.
So this is was today's story. I hope like the video. So don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Enjoy your life. Bye bye.